Welcome to Talking with Sapna. Today we're going to be talking mindfulness for your children. As we've come to the end of the year, what you'll be noticing is that you're getting tired, your children are getting tired. It means that emotions are harder to deal with, patience is wearing thin, and it's really normal at this time of the year. As we're getting towards the last 2 weeks of school, as we're working towards Christmas, and especially after the year we've had, everybody's looking for a break and just to have the new year to start fresh. And as you wait for all of that to come, you've got to work out different ways to manage for yourself, but also your children. And so today I really want to focus in on mindfulness and how we can use that in practical ways to help in the moment, just after the moment, and also before things start to happen. And what's really important with mindfulness practice is that if it's something you're asking your children to do, that it's something you yourself are willing to do with them or at a separate time as well. Now, mindfulness is something we hear about, we talk about, we hear being thrown around in different contexts and for different reasons. But today I really want to focus on this idea of mindfulness being about bringing some calm and some quiet into your lives and your children's lives, but also that idea of trying to stay in the moment and focusing on where your hands are working. You know, there's that saying that focus your mind where your hands are working, because what it allows you to do and what it allows children to do is to be present and be in the moment. And what you might have noticed after the year we've had is that it's really easy to pop to the future. I wonder what things are going to be like after COVID. I wonder what things are going to be like when they get back to normal, and am I going to be okay being around my family again and being with friends, and how are my children going to cope? All those questions come bubbling up to the surface. And it's normal. When things change, when new things come to you and your children, it's normal for children also to ask what's going to happen next and where are we going to know. They need certainty. And in an uncertain world, that can sometimes be a little bit difficult to give them. But the gift you can give them is to teach them to be in the moment and be present and focus on where they are in this moment. And there are a few different ways that you can do that. One way is to practice a bit of mindfulness or meditation with them. Now, I know that when I say the word meditation, it has so many different connotations, and a lot of people might step back and be like, oh, that's going a bit too far. I don't know if they'll be able to sit for that long. But what you need to remember with children is meditation is really about teaching them to quieten their minds, calm their bodies. And so with mindfulness practice for children, how we do this is through doing a body scan with them. So to do a body scan, you want them to still their bodies, whether it's sitting on a chair or lying down. You want them to gently close their eyes and then very softly guide them through a process where they create an awareness of their toes, their feet, and moving all the way up their legs, through their torso and their arms, wiggling their fingers. You can move them up to their faces, tell them to twitch their nose, tell them to move their mouths and flutter their eyelids. But you're slowly moving them up through each part of their body so that their awareness and their focus is on that part of the body. And what that does is it just instills a sense of calm. And this body scan can be 30 seconds. But note your child before you do the body scan and after, and you will see there's a level of calm. It's something that's really nice to do in the morning before you start the day, but it's something that you can do with them just before they go to bed. Because what that allows for is for them to focus on their body in the present, which means that their mind isn't moving at 100 miles an hour, focusing on what's been happening throughout the day or what's going to come tomorrow. And so body scanning as a practice is a really powerful method of mindfulness for children. And there are a lot of different resources you can use online. There's even one video that I've posted up on my Facebook page earlier in the year, which I will post up again, in which you can use with your children and play it for them so they can actually just listen to a voice with some music and calm their bodies themselves. The other way to do it is to focus on activities that are tactile, that involve them using their hands. Play-Doh's a great tool for this. Clay, plasticine, any of those things where they have to make something. And even if it's just making a ball, but that process of just using their hands to mold something, it means their focus is on that task. And that brings a sense of quietude to them. And you'll notice that you need that as well. Just that time where you're just present in the moment, focusing on what you're doing. But too often, our minds are in 101 places when we're trying to do a task. You might notice it when you're in the kitchen washing dishes or making dinner. Are you present? Or is your mind going, oh, I've got to do this and this and this and this, and have I done that yet? And all those questions whirring through our minds. And as the adult, you have that. So it's really good for you to practice being in the moment and being present, because you're modeling that for your children. And when it comes to these habits of the mind and these habits around the house, your children are watching what you do. They're learning from you. So what we want to do at a young age is really instill in them practices that they can use that work for them. And even as your children start to get older and towards adolescence, it's about really working with them to identify a practice that they respond to and that resonates with them. Because sometimes a body scan works for some children and not for others. For other children, you might get them to just sit outside for 5 minutes just listening to the sounds of nature. That can have a really powerful impact. Or for some children, doing some colouring or hitting a ball against the wall or bouncing a ball, that can have the same calming effect on their mind. But whatever practice you choose to do for yourself and that you choose to show to your children, remember, try different things, use different ways of bringing that quiet and calm into your children and into your family environment, because then it allows everybody to pick a way that works for them. And this is what's really important. It's about trying different practices, exploring different ways, and finding that one way that resonates for you, and then that one way that resonates for your children. Because when your child finds a practice that works for them, they're more likely to do it every day and therefore make it a habit. And with mindfulness, that's what you want. You want it to become a daily habit, because the daily habit of mindfulness is when we see a long-term benefit coming through. Because that calming of the mind, the being present, it means that you're not caught up in the worry of the future or the pain of the past, but you're just there in the moment, finding your own happiness, but allowing your children to find their happiness. And so they can really focus on what brings them joy. And that's what you want for your children, to bring them joy, for them to find the practices that make them happy and make them be their best selves. So try out the body scan, try out the tactile play, try being in nature for 5 minutes every day with your children or encouraging them to go by themselves. But find a practice, give it a go, and then remember that it takes 21 days to build a habit. So try and make it a daily part of your ritual so it can become a habit not only for you, but more importantly for your children. Because the good habits we give them now put them in great stead for their future.